I will add the view of a company that is actually investing right now in Ukraine as we speak. And for that, I have also prepared a little presentation that I will show now. Here we go. So let me start by telling you what Bayer is, because maybe not everybody is aware of that. So on a global level, we have three divisions. We are in pharmaceutical drugs, which is the prescription part, and consumer health, which is the non-prescription drugs, and another sector, which is crop science. We are a global company with 50 billion of sales. We have 100,000 employees. And we are very much science-driven, and that is underlined by a global budget of R&D of 6.6 billion euro last year. Now, what does it mean for Ukraine? In Ukraine, we are present since 1992, also with all three divisions, crop science being by far the biggest one. We are in all regions. We have 700 employees and roughly 250 seasonal workers right now. We have a seeds production plant, corn seeds production plant in Zhytomyr, roughly an hour and a half southwest of Kiev. That plant has been operating since 2018, had an initial investment of roughly 200 million euro. And now we are just about to invest another 60 million in these days. So when the war broke out, we were thinking like, how can we support Ukraine? And for us, it's investment, and that is the first one I will talk about, because that's why we are here. But for us, it was also, and I want to mention that, I will very briefly come at the end of it to that. It's also to support Ukraine, because being in the agro business and being in the health sector, these are two central parts that Ukraine needs to overcome this war. So that is a big portion of our activity also right now. And the third one is, of course, our own people. It's not only their safety and security, but also how we can support them. So let's get into our investment. As I mentioned, it's a state-of-the-art facility. It's a corn seed plant. Not sure if everybody fully knows what that is. Seeds production is not for everybody's thing. We are not using GMO, so it's really the conventional crossing of existing products, of existing maize, and then coming up with a very high-performance corn that we are multiplying and that we are then selling. So again, this is this plant that we have in Zhytomyr. It's about a 60 million investment that we are doing now. What are we doing? We are investing in a third dryer that we need. So corn needs to be dried when it comes from the field in order to be processed, and that's what we are doing. With that, we need energy. That is a cop burner. So it's very sustainable energy. We are not burning gas. We are using the cobs of this corn that we are then burning. Because we are expanding our activities, we also need a new field equipment. We need storage facilities. We are investing in 2 bomb shelters on the plant, because we have provisionary ones now, and also new lines to receive the corn. We will add with that roughly 40 seasonal jobs, so it's not so much in additional jobs we are creating with this expansion. So therefore, we are not qualifying for what Sergey has mentioned before, for the investment nannies and the support. But that has not been our aim anyway. For us, it was basically to say this investment makes a lot of sense, because also Sergey pointed out there are lots of opportunities, and this is not something that we just had in mind now during the war. We saw that already before. That's why we invested in this very modern and one of the biggest seeds plant for Bayer in Europe in general. in Ukraine. So we have just seen the opportunities. In the past, we have mainly sold our product in Ukraine, actually 100%, until end of 2021. There was a harmonization between European Union and Ukraine for exporting seeds products. And that is when we started to invest. We started to export smaller quantities to try it out. It works very well. And now we are investing in that plant to increase our exports to the EU. That is the main purpose of what we are doing. Of course, we will also have to see how after the war, the development of corn production in Ukraine develops. For the time being, it's unfortunately negative because we have lost arable land. But we hope that in the future, this trend will be, again have a turnaround. So that plant is destined to further supply for Ukraine, but also in an increasing form for export into the European Union. What's maybe interesting for you is a couple of numbers, which is quite impressive. When we are selling a bag of corn seeds, that is typically around 24 kilos. And these 24 kilos usually are sufficient for 1 hectare. On this 1 hectare with 24 kilo, a farmer can produce 12 to 15 tons of corn. Just to give you a relation of how big that is what we are doing and what Ukraine is capable. And again, I'm referring to everything that Sergey has mentioned before. There's a lot of opportunities that is still to explore in the benefit of Ukrainian farmers and employment. The opportunities are also not only for the corn production, but it has also to do with employment. Right now, our plant is employing roughly 5,000 indirect people, so not our employees, but 5,000 people who are working in order to produce this corn. This investment will add another 20 to 30%, not on our payroll, but with our partners that we use to grow the corn. The investment also makes a lot of sense for the community where we are. Roughly 25% of our budget is coming from our plant only. So we are paying taxes in Zhytomyr, in Putriki to be precise. Yeah, and I repeat myself, we see major opportunities not only in Ukraine, but also for export.
Oliver, as from what I understand, it's really you made investment, or you're making investments, which is really very opportune and timely during the current period of time. And I think that Ukraine really very thankful and grateful to you for this kind of decision. And from what I understood, this decision was relatively easy for you to take because you wanted to support Ukraine. It was actually a long time ago already well thought. And basically now you decided to support additionally the country and plus to support your operations. At the same time, could you please also speculate on somehow pick up the main challenges currently, what you observe? Because obviously there are lots of opportunities as soon as the war is going to be over. But for those ones who are now thinking whether to invest or not, and since we don't know how much time the war is going to be continued, can you please outline now what are the main concerns you are going through at the current stage?
Yeah. So thank you very much for pointing out, yes, it is a decision that we have taken during the war, not before. So we have, of course, had expansion in general in mind. And we decided on that when it made business-wise sense for us and it fits to the war situation. So the war was not a reason not to do it for us. But the decision has been established and realized now during the war. So what are our topics? Of course, a lot of the product that we need, this dryer, that is a very, very specialized company that's not produced in Ukraine today. So this is something that needs to be imported. And of course, yeah, we to be very honest, we have to find ways and possibilities to pay for that. Usually, you have to pay with when you pay with foreign currency outside of Ukraine, you have to import the products within 60 days. that machine is not built in 60 days, and they cannot pre-finance it because it's a quite small company. So we had quite some workarounds to get that done with our headquarter to give guarantees or to pre-finance certain things. So yeah, this is one of the topics. Of course, we are aware that this is not a zero risk situation. Of course, we know that we have attacks in Ukraine still today and ongoing, unfortunately. So there's also risk to the production as such. That's why we are looking also for some investment guarantees that different institutions, including the German government, are providing. But for us, again, the decision to do it was a pure business decision, and it also makes sense for us without these incentives. Of course, we would also take them if they are possible, but this was also done without. Difficulties are rather to make sure that we can operate in normal hours. During the war, for example, we had reduced working hours because the front line was not so far away, unfortunately, from our plant. And it's a question how we can import the products, how the new equipment, how we can pay for it in foreign currency. So these are our challenges right now.
And you're not losing money, right? So you are cash positive at the current stage. So this is a very good message also to those ones who are outside of Ukraine and also speculate whether it's lucrative or not to have investments currently in the country. So you are cash positive.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just do you like to finalize, right?
Yeah. I would just like very, very quickly, as I mentioned before, Bayer has done quite a lot. So we have supported the Red Cross. We have our employee donation campaign with more than 1 million euro was the most successful that we ever had at Bayer on a global level. We have given out healthcare products, antibiotics, oncology products, contrast media, painkillers. We have donated seeds for more than 2,500 farmers in Ukraine for corn and also vegetable seeds. We have given shelter to refugees in some of our training centers in Germany, to Ukrainian, particularly women with children and elderly people. And the third thing is, we have supported our employees. We are expanding, especially in the very first time when nobody knew where it was going. We did not dismiss anybody. We did not dismiss any person today, and we are not planning to do so. We have increased the salaries. We supported our people abroad, also in Ukraine, non-financial support with psychological support and others. So just to tell you, for us, it's a total that we can do. The investment helps Ukraine and it helps us. I mean, it's a commercial decision. Let's be fair. We are a commercial company. But for us, it's not only to see what we can take from it, but also what we can give there. And we are substantially supporting Ukraine to come through that period, and also our employees in the same way, because it's finally the employees who have this resilience. And I think the attitude of the company helps a lot, that our people have this positive mindset and keep going despite all this difficult situation that we see here. So just a snapshot here. Here's the seeds delivery to farmers, 6 ambulances that we bought for Ukraine, new ones. We are rebuilding the oncology clinic in Chernihiv. I was there just a month ago. We are supporting kids with traumata. So, and here our support for people, but then for our people, psychological support, health insurance, financial support, evacuation, accommodation in Ukraine and abroad. So that's us. So thank you very much for your attention, and thank you again for having had this spot here. Thank you.